Hi, everyone. Give it a few minutes, let everybody get in here. Hey, Bill. Hey, guys. Tonight I was gonna go over Jessica Kent's most recent video. We might want to wait a minute for a few people to show up. Can you lay down, baby? Leave her alone, boys. Hey, Melissa. How are you, honey? Hey, Sheba. Nice to see you. Lay down, babe. Sorry, I have a menagerie of dogs around me right now. Did anybody else watch part three of Jessica Kent's docuseries out of curiosity? Just me, huh? I took notes. Like I have a page and a half of notes. Oh my god. Ooh. How are you guys doing tonight? How's everybody's night going? And do anything with my hair, so it's all over the place. Hmm. So, the good takeaways from her most recent video, she had some really really good advice for abuse victims, which a lot of that I get chastised for my eyes shaking around, so you're gonna get it. Sorry, um, but I'm about to hit you. Anyway, sorry about that. But anyway, so good takeaways from her most recent video. She did have some really good advice in there for abuse victims. Making a plan, making an online bank account, kind of squirreling money away. All of that, I was really behind. It was really solid advice. I mean, honestly, I've been through my own domestic violence situation, and it wasn't easy to escape, especially financial abuse. One thing she was right about is financial abuse is one of those things that doesn't start that way. It starts off, it's your car, it's your money, it's your house or whatever, and then one day it's like you wake up and yeah, everything's in their name. And that part hit with me. I did get that, and I'm not gonna say that I don't feel for Jessica, and that's the biggest thing here. No one questioned the abuse. So like this docu series, the one thing that I have a problem with the docu series, if you wanted to call it, docu series about my toxic relationship, that would be different. But so many of us in this community did not question her DV story. We didn't. We did not at all question her domestic violence story. Like we questioned her time in prison. Like the things that we have, you know, seen are complete farce. By the way, is my sound okay? I'm sorry. I just realized I had my microphone underneath my notes. So let me know if that sounds better. But most of us out here in the community that are questioning Jessica Kent, we're not questioning whether Reese abused her or not. And like from my end, I believe that he did. But I will say that what made a lot of people, it seemed to me, question her DV was that she was making videos about Amber Heard lying about narcissistic abuse months before she came out and said she was a victim of narcissistic abuse. So it's hard to kind of put those two things together. But I do understand her side, and it being one of those things that you don't see until you see it. Like when you're in it, you don't see it. You think this is the greatest thing in the world. I love them so much. And you're on this toxic up and down roller coaster, and you just think it's the best thing that's ever happened to you. And it's not. And I get that. And I understand how two things can be true at once. She could have seen that Amber Heard was lying about narcissistic abuse and not realized that she was a um in a narcissistic abuse relationship. Jilly says, "Hi, Jilly Beans." Says, "I have not seen the JK video yet, but I am going to watch." It was a decent watch. I will say that I think that some of the body cam she could have condensed, and some of it didn't make her look the greatest. I will say that. Like, I will say that um there were parts with Jason, like I've actually got it written down in my notes where it made her look kind of bad, and so I appreciate that she's showing. I don't want to say both sides because I don't believe she's showing both sides, but I do believe she's showing a little that makes her bad to kind of make it show like I am showing all sides. So let's see what I got written down. So yeah, the first thing I had was that most creators are not questioning her abuse aside from Mindy literally saying Reese is nothing like what Jessica has painted him as. And Nicole or Dicole. I like I like the whole Dicole thing. I think that's fucking hilarious. So but yeah, like the two loudest voices questioning her abuse were Nicole and Mindy. And that's to me is sad because I will say that when I was in my relationship, I believe I was in a relationship where there was narcissistic abuse. And one of the things that my ex did when we broke up was went and go bang a bunch of my friends. And that seems to be what Reese did to Jessica. And I think that's horrible. It's terrible for anyone to do that to someone. It screws with your mind in a way where you're like, uh, you don't feel like you're enough. You feel less than, like you feel awful. And I feel for Jessica in that regard because I know that wherever this is going, when she gets to the Mindy part, she's gonna have to expose the fact that Mindy did a lot more than just go to Reese's house like she told everybody. Like I think that we all know that, but in reality, like that's just what it is. And Vinny has gone back on her statement about Reese, right? She even said last week that he was for sure manipulative and abusive. Yeah, she goes back and forth so much that I don't know if there's anything we can believe for Mindy. Um, she was an inside source with Jessica, but like at the same time, I don't know if we can believe anything Mindy's ever said because she does. She goes back and forth on everything. And that's part of addiction, like that can be the addiction cycle working the way that it does, or it could just be who Mindy is. But she has went back and forth on a lot of the statements she's made, and she's went back and forth on the Reese thing quite a bit. This let's see, number 3. This was something I took issue with. She said, "This is not a smear campaign, but the other side is." B says, "I haven't watched the JK series. I feel I need to be in the right place to do it." It is really difficult. I'm not gonna lie, like it is really difficult to watch if you are a survivor of narcissistic abuse. Like it's very visceral. It's very in your face. Um, Especially dealing with the cops and like the manipulation. Like there is manipulation there with Reese. Like watching her try and get her things from him and him being in the house and then being outside, I felt some type of way. I've been in that situation. It's frustrating. But I will say that there are things that she did in that situation that made her look bad that weren't on her. And it wasn't necessarily her, it was more Jason. But Jason is an extension of her at this point. Especially when you're standing there with the cops and you're like, this is the person who's coming to help me move. Like, of course, they're gonna be like, your friend's acting erratically. Um, but yeah, this is not a smear campaign, but the other side is. I don't want to smear Jessica. I don't want that. All that I feel like most of the creators on this end are asking for is simply just Can't be honest. Just tell us the truth about your prison time. Like, we aren't questioning whether you're abused. We're not questioning that, girl, like, at all. Like, most of us on this side have went through it, and we believe you went through it too. Like, and that's all that needs to be said. But goodness, like, that is what she's focusing on so hard. And I do the one thing I will say about Nicole and Mindy, and even Tracy to a certain extent, is that I don't believe before this. Thanks, B. I appreciate that. Before this, I don't believe that Jessica had this huge out in all of this, like that she had a huge, get out of jail free card and, could walk away. And I feel like Mindy and Nicole flip flopping and being the way that they have and doing all this infighting has literally kicked a hole in the wall and given her a place to walk straight through and get away with lying to her subscribers for 4 years because we don't care. Or I shouldn't say that. We care that you were abused, and I'm sorry that you were. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, Jessica. I know you're not going to watch this, but if you ever did, I personally am sorry that you went through that. Like, that's not anything anybody should have to endure, and I'm sorry that you did. But that is it's shifting the goalposts. That's not what we're asking you for. We're asking you for accountability and to be truthful about your prison story. That's all. Because you've made all these prison videos, you made millions off that, and your subscribers, that's who we were, just want to know the truth. Because when you say you did 5 years and we find out you did a little over 350 days, that's a big difference. That is a huge difference. And that's what we're asking for. So making videos that don't really explain that, it's just kind of moving things for everyone. Melissa says it can be hard at this point. I can't entirely blame her for feeling that way given how so many have handled their commentary on her, even if I think people have valid criticisms too. Yeah, 100%. I think that I haven't seen a lot of creators questioning the abuse, but I did see Nicole laughing at it. And she puts that in this video. And that on Nicole looks horrible. It looks horrible for our entire community. What is going on with Nicole and Mindy looks terrible on the people who have actually tried to be non-biased and not look at, her domestic violence through any kind of clouded lens or any lens where they're questioning it. It just puts us all into a category. I feel like we all are in this place where it's like we're the crazies. You know what I mean? And that just isn't right. And we're not. A lot of us are just old subscribers who would just like some clarification on why you lied about your time. That's it. That's as simple as it is. It's very, very easy to say, hey, you know what? I need a paycheck. And 5 years sounded better than 350 days. Look, it can be that simple. But she doesn't make it that simple. Melissa says, and that's what sucks about how people and Nicole and Mindy handle things. Yep. Right, it makes everybody discussing her look bad when most aren't. Exactly, like, most of us actually believe that she was abused, like, we believe all the things about Reese, it's not that. We're questioning your YouTube career, that's all, girl, that's it. But, the fourth thing I wrote down was that she said that cyberbullying can lead you to be charged with involuntary manslaughter. She's 100% correct, but I don't believe now, I will say that I do think that some of the stuff, Nicole was doing was cyberbullying. She was like live streaming against this girl every day, and I've had that done to me, and it sucks. It's horrible. Like, you literally you're frozen in a state of panic almost because you're worried every day about what's going to come out about you that isn't true and how you're going to have to combat that. So I can understand what she was saying there, but I don't think it applies to the community who is just being critical of her content. At the end of the day, you are a public figure. You're going to have criticism. You are going to have people who question the things that you say. Therefore, you have to have some kind of threshold for that pushback. And it seems like Jessica doesn't have very much of a threshold for it at all, which is crazy to me that she is in the prison community of all communities. And doesn't seem to understand that people are going to question things. It's just very odd because the whole community is like, oh, let's check paperwork, let's do this. But nobody ever did that with her. And it's like, you know, so much of this could be solved by just being truthful. Like I really do believe that there are still some subs left who might come back if she was truthful. But until she is, I believe any video outside this docuseries or outside her talking about Reese, which eventually she's gonna run out of things to say about this. Or she's gonna run out of people who are interested. And she's gonna have to go back to what she was doing before, which were prison videos or true crime or whatever. And, the last stream I did, we went through her social blade, and it's like her videos about true crime or whatever, they're getting like 20K views. The docuseries is getting like 250,000. Like, that's a huge jump. It's a huge jump. And for that to be a million subscriber channel, it should be bringing in five figures minimum a month. And I doubt very seriously that it is. Um, but I do agree with her. Cyberbullying can lead to involuntary manslaughter if someone takes their life, and that kind of thing isn't okay. And honestly, I don't think that we all saw what was going on right in front of us. And I don't know how to say that in any other way. Like, we were all, I feel, hoodwinked by Nicole and by Mindy. I I don't know about Tracy. I'll be honest. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on her. I don't know if everything she said was true, if some of it was a farce. I have no idea. It was the same way when she used Reese for contents, her numbers went way up. Yep. Anytime she's included him, it has went up. And I believe that's because people actually liked him. And two things can be true at once. Narcissists are very charming. They are. So he could be a narcissist and he could be very good at putting on this good public facing front. But it doesn't mean that he didn't do the things that she said he did. And nobody is saying that he didn't. You know what I mean? Um, but I do she did say that dozens of creators are doing that daily. No, 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 no. I believe that there are very few creators who are technically cyberbullying her. Now, a call for accountability is different. And a call for truthfulness is different. And for me, I've lost it. Like, I don't really I wouldn't go back if she was honest to this point because I've seen so much and I've seen her do so many things that it's just kind of a moot point now because there's no way that I could trust her again in the way that I did before. But I would be open to hearing why she did what she did. And I think we all know why she did what she did. At the end of the day, it made money. Like, I feel like I think she started telling her story and it started to make money. And she felt that she needed to up it to make more money. And unfortunately, maybe she did. Maybe her regular schmegular life wasn't enough, but I think it was. Being pregnant in prison, all those things, like, that's such a traumatic experience. Like, I can't even imagine. I mean, my pregnancy wasn't in prison, it was traumatic. So, like, I can't imagine giving birth. I'm gonna have to turn my overhead light on one sec, guys. I'm so sorry. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. But yeah, my pregnancy in itself was traumatic. So I can't imagine being pregnant, like being in prison during that. Like, I cannot. Like, it's insanity. And I just don't feel that she had the need to lie. Like, that's the thing. I think it was enough. Hey, Roddy. Yeah, you're more than welcome. It's good to see you. I'll have to get with you later about those shirts. But let's see. Number 5, I had written down that she doxed. She continues to dox throughout the series Lisa's full name, and for me, that's just not okay. Like, you're bleeping out other information. Why don't you go ahead and bleep that out? You know what I mean? Like, you could easily bleep out his first and last name. Granted, you used it in other things and it's not that hard to figure out or find. Maybe get your hand off her. Sorry. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where I feel like you could afford him a little more privacy than you are. Like, just because he was awful to you doesn't mean that you have to be awful back. Like, one day your children will be old enough and they will see this stuff on the internet. They will. Like, whether you delete it or not, it's there. And it's always going to be there. And this is their father. And I just feel like you could do more to protect him and your kids at the end of the day, because not only is his last name, but it's also your children's last name. Like, that's something to think about. Um and then okay, I'm gonna hit to the body cam footage. This is when it kind of went off the rails. Jason said in the body cam that Reese threatened him with a gun, but he hadn't mentioned this anywhere the entire time. For me, I feel like if he had threatened him with a bang bang during the moving situation, he would have brought that up again. Like, Jason was on here going off all the time. Let's see. Ra- uh, Melissa says, yeah, that was a petty move. Roddy says that I think her kids are already old enough to know what's going on. Yeah, definitely her oldest. Her younger one, my daughter's about the same age, and I don't know that she would be seeing, YouTube because she's still on the kids stuff and whatnot. But she's so curious about what I'm doing constantly, especially like my lives. Like, I'll show her my thumbnails and things like that. And like, she wants to watch the videos and I just have to tell her no, because, just because I don't, sorry, it's my naked lady lamp, guys. Um, but, um, shh. But anyway, sorry, I'm doing this one on the fly, so I'm on my bed, so I'm getting conjecture from my husband. So if you hear anything dumb come from the peanut gallery, just you know, disregard it. They can see you, babe. You want to scoot over? Okay, well then they can see the naked lady. I'll show you my naked lady lamp. Isn't she lovely? Sorry, we're getting ready to move, so everything is just everywhere. It's driving me nuts. Hey Terry, it's good to see you, honey. Um, but yeah, I just believe that if he had threatened him with a pew pew, he would have been screaming that from the rooftops. I believe he would have went and taken charges or something. And the cops even said, "Do you have proof?" And he's like, "No, I don't." And they're like, "Well, there's nothing we can do about it if you don't have proof." Uh, how is Brittany Shears this evening? How is Brittany Shears? Yeah, he's meh. You need to get in there and chat. Put my video on. You really don't support me? Yeah, you don't. Um, but let's see. And then there's a part in there where Jason just starts to get increasingly like more and more irate. B is gonna get onto you for clanking your ice around. I promised you, David, you don't want to hear her wrath. But you're gonna have to bust at him about the ice. I've already done it twice, so. But yeah, Jason keeps getting more and more irate in the body cam, and finally he says to the officers, "I'm gonna go kick the effing door down, and then y'all can arrest us both." Because apparently Reese had an active warrant at the time, and he was inside with the girl drinking, and they're trying to get Jessica to stop. In no way am I on Reese's side in this. Not at all. What he did was wrong. It was manipulative. It was abusive. It was gross. It was absolutely gross. And hiding in the basement like a little bitch, like that was gross. Like, come on, dude. You're in your 40s. Get it together. Let her come in and get her kid stuff. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. Jessica was right about that. He should have let her in. But Jason getting increasingly irate and saying things like, "I'm going to kick the door in and then you can arrest us both," in front of these officers. Like, even the officers said to her at one point, like, "This isn't going to look good on you. Like, your friend is being pretty crazy. Be quiet with your ice. But anyway, yeah, your friend is getting, is being very irate. If he gets it on video, it's going to look bad for you. And I agree with them on that. Like there was a lot of things that happened throughout the last, year, because she mentioned in that she had left him within like a year of the date. Do you need me to go in the living room? Okay. But anyway, that she had left him a year to the date of making that video. There were a lot of things that Jason did online and in general that look really bad on Jessica. And that's not her fault nor her cross to bear. But at the end of the day, she chose to have Jason in her life. So it does look bad on her. And it is bad on her. And I understand the feeling or need to have male backup in this situation. Like I totally understand that from her point of view. Uh B says, "Don't bring your new partner to the family home." And I feel like listening between the lines, she was calling, texting, and visiting, and leading it to be confusing for the status of their relationship. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I think that she was sending him mixed signals the entire time. I don't think that Reese really knew uh, what to think. I don't. And I think that her being with Jason just made it worse because not only was that, you know, someone that she had moved on to, but it was someone that she had had an affair with. And that's also something that we've asked for truthfulness on is you don't have to say you didn't do it, but just or that it didn't happen or whatever. Like just admit that you were messaging Jason. Like stop acting like there was nothing on your side of the street that ended that relationship. There was, and it's like I don't think that Reese wasn't getting messed up. I don't not believe that. I believe very deeply that they both screwed up a lot. And I think that his relapse led him to act in a way that was unbecoming of him and unbecoming in general. And I don't know. It's just a mess because I see both of their sides, but I also you can't ignore one side just because there was abuse from the other side doesn't mean that your side is 100% all there is, if that makes sense. So, and I completely agree with B. Like, I don't feel it was appropriate for Jason to be there. Even if he was there to help move, you could have gotten someone else. You could have hired movers. Now, granted, I understand why she wouldn't hire movers. They got a U-Haul and they basically, you can play your game or whatever. You can, there. It doesn't matter. Oh my God, there. You can scoot over now. Britney Shears is so afraid of being seen on camera, y'all. Like, oh, you can't maintain that you're Britney Shears if you can scoot over now. I moved it. Scoot over. Well, scoot over. Scoot over. What? There you go. I'm not belittling you. I'm just telling you to scoot over. Mm-hmm. All right. Anyway, but yeah, I just don't think that anyway, I don't believe that that was right? Just his arm is offensive to people. Oh my god, I'm gonna laugh, Melissa. Melissa said, I get the sense that Jessica has a type and has unhealthy dynamics with partners. Yeah, I mean, if we are to believe some of the things, hey girls, it's good to see you, honey. How are you? Um, if we're to believe what was said by Jason to Nicole about rehab, she is physical with her partners, and you can't do that. You can't be physical with your partners from either side. That's wrong. Like it is possible for a man to be physically abused. Just because my husband is 6'1" and I'm 5'6", and he's got, maybe 50 pounds on me, 100 pounds, whatever it is, like probably 50. But just because he's bigger than me doesn't mean that I can't hurt him. Because he wouldn't hit me back. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're with a man who doesn't hit women, they're not going to hit you. Therefore, you can do some damage. It doesn't matter how big you are. So that is a moot point to me because Jason didn't seem to be a hitter, and in that case, like I do feel like she could have been doing the same things to Reese. Therefore, was it mutual? That will always be a question. But I don't not believe that Jessica was abused. I 100% believe she was. And until there is proof that it was mutual, there's no reason to look into it anymore. Leave Britney Shears alone. Babe, I'm being told to leave you alone. But yeah, men can definitely be victims. And we saw that. Sorry. Sorry for sound issues. I just pulled my mic off. But we definitely saw that in the Johnny Depp trial. Like we saw that he was being manipulated and that he was being abused. Like, and I just feel like there's been this massive movement where you're seeing men that have been abused, talk about it. So I feel like saying there's no such thing as mutual abuse. Like I just don't agree with that. Like there's reactive abuse. Who's no, my husband. Oh, girls, you don't even know. Last time I did a live, he was in here, and he changed his name on everything to Britney Shears. He he loves poking at Britney and poking at me, so that's his little way of doing it. Yeah, Britney Shears. But yeah, I don't necessarily just believe in reactive abuse. Like I believe in mutual. Like, and there could have been abuse from one end going on for a very long time before the other. That would be reactive. But if Jessica were doing things before, like the cheating, like the denigrating him in the emails to Jason, all those things, what is that? You know what I mean? That is manipulation. That is abuse. That is toxicity. That's cheating on your partner. That is harmful behavior for your partner. And I I have a hard time with the whole Reese and Jessica thing because we only know her side. And granted, Reese has had a chance to come out and tell his side, and he should. Like, I 100% think at this point, yeah, I read those emails too. And like the things that she would say, like the one that stands out to me was her saying that Reese had went and bought her makeup from Sephora, but that she wanted to fuck Jason. She didn't want to fuck him. Like, I cannot imagine reading that after being with someone and having a child in that time and knowing that my partner was at home pregnant or, with my very small infant writing those dirty emails. Like, I can't even imagine what that did to him. Like, we all saw the relapse, but we don't know the reason. And now with those emails, it seems like we've had a pretty clear reason as to why he relapsed. I don't know a lot of people who could go through that and not relapse. I mean, that's just realistic. And if we're to, yeah, Curl said I would be beyond gutted if I had seen letters like that. I would be too. Like I would have so many questions. Like, why would you just why would you play with my head? Why would you have this kid with me? Why would you do any of this with me if you still wanted your jailhouse boyfriend? Like, none of it makes sense. And like, my ex actually did a bid while we were together. He did almost a year while we were together. And like, I did all these things. Like, I got us a house, I got a new car. Not a car I wanted, a car I thought he would think was cool. I went and picked him up. I drove 8 hours overnight and 8 hours back, so 16 total. And he didn't even act excited to see me. Like, I get it. Like, I completely get it. Like, there are going through narcissistic abuse is horrible, but it could have been coming from both ends, and that's all I'll say on that. I don't want to say just because abuse is not valid, because I believe 100% that it is. I believe her abuse is 100% valid. But I do believe at this point, Reese deserves a voice, and that he should, if nothing else, create a channel and tell his story himself, because it would clear up so much if we heard from him. And I don't know if that's a tactic on his end to keep the manipulation going, is to, keep it quiet and just keep it behind, you know, a closed door, etc. Like, I'm not sure. It's all very confusing, to be honest, because it's just all questionable behavior. It's like, why would you do this? Why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like, especially with Reese, like, why would you not come out by now? Like, why would you not say something against her with everything that she's saying? And it does beg the question, did he pay Mindy and Nicole? Did he do that? Melissa says, I also think Reese bringing in Mindy was low and dirty. It was. It 100% was. And I've been there. My husband and I actually got together because my ex and basically banged his girl, and they split up, and we'd split up, and I called to check on him, and it was just instant click. I mean, we had dated before, but it was also one of those things where it was like the thing in your life that you were looking for, that you were missing, was just right there under your nose the whole time, if that makes sense. Curl says, I don't know if we should speak up, but if he's going to say something, he needs to, and not through others. 100%. I think that he has used Nicole and Mindy as his mouthpiece, and that's not right. Like, it isn't, and it begs the question as to whether he has um what his side actually is, because what he's doing is manipulative. Carl says, agreed, Melissa. There's a lot of toxic, petty, immature behaviors on both sides. Yep, there is. And that's the thing. That's why I say, like, I do believe in mutual abuse. I don't believe it's all reactive, because nothing Reese did made Jessica write those emails to. Like, at the end of the day, that's one piece of the puzzle that we can all agree on, is that there's nothing he did that could have made her say those things. You know what I mean? And it's a lot. And putting out something so personal, I feel for her on that. Like, I do. I hate that she feels that she has to defend her domestic violence story, but I also wonder if that's her moving the goalpost so she can say, this is my story, and never address the fact that she didn't do the time that she said she did. Ratty says, I want to know, why did Jason give those emails to Reese in the first place? From what I understand, he got into a fight with Jessica, and he printed the emails off and rolled over to Reese's house and just handed them to him. And if you go back there, like in Jason's interview with Jessica, he talks about there being an entire year where he hung out with Reese and not Jessica. They didn't talk. So I assume that during that year was the year that he had given her the emails, and there were all those videos she put out that year of her and Reese having problems, splitting up. And I believe that Jason and Reese were partying together after that, because Reese probably felt like, oh, I can trust Jason more than I can trust Jessica, because at least he told me. But let's see. The next thing that I had was that Jason kept being confrontational and making threats to the cops. Like, that doesn't look good. It doesn't. And Jessica said that Reese was trying to prove her unfit and take the kids. And cops point out that if Reese is filming Jason acting erratic, then it won't look good in court. And he's 100. They were 100% right. Like, there's so much that's happened on the internet and with Jason that could affect her custody situation. And it's like, it's almost like she doesn't think about that. And I don't know. I feel for the kids and I feel for her because, as I've said, I don't believe that Jessica's a bad mom. I just don't. I don't think she is. Like, a lot of people put that on her, and I just don't see a reason to put that on her. Like, other than having questionable people around her children. Should she have had Jason in the house around the kids? No, she shouldn't have. Should she have had people around the kids that were detoxing or using illegal substances? No, she shouldn't have. But does that mean that she doesn't care for her children? No. Does that mean she doesn't love and take care of them? No. Does that mean that she shouldn't get home to school on time? Nope. Does it mean she shouldn't feed them? Nope. Like I see people using things like screen time that the kids are getting and saying, that's neglect. And yeah, I get it. It could be neglectful if you just hand your kid an iPad and that's all they ever get. But I just don't see that being the case with Jess. Maybe I'm wrong there, and maybe there's something that will come out that will prove that. But as it stands right now, I believe Jessica's a good mom. Maybe Carl said maybe guilt, or he wanted JK to and hoped this would break them up. Maybe because he did like Reese and was trying to be honest. All of those things, yeah, I believe. Maybe Jason was trying to break them up because she kept saying in the emails that when he got out, they'd be together. So when he got out and they weren't together, maybe he just got fed up at a certain point. He's like, you strung me along this long. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I can completely see that. Also, by the way, everybody, the thumbnail in this video, Roddy made for me a really long time ago. I've used it like several times, but she's so talented, and I just wanted to shout her out real quick. Just give a heads up. Let's see. Roddy said if she was a bad mom or on drugs right now, CPS would have taken them by now. You're 100% right. Yep, they would have. Oops. Okay. Let's see. B says it felt to me she was trying to get Reese locked up to get him out of the way so she could repeat M's daddy. Yeah, it feels that way. I don't think that in any way she wants him to be a part of the children's life. Do I believe he's doing things that is actively taking him out of the kids' lives? Yes. Like saying that he had a break in on Christmas and there are no footprints and nothing, like because he was 5 hours late to dinner. Those are things that he could work on to be a better parent. And it's like, I see on both ends wrongs, but I don't necessarily think that Reese would be harmful to the girls. I think that he truly loves them. And I think that she says all the time, two good households is better than one toxic household. And you're right. But two households, both parents. And I don't see a lot of her wanting to work with him and work with Reese on things. You know what I mean? I don't feel like she wants to co-parent with him. I don't feel like any part of her wants him in the picture now. I feel like he kind of served his purpose as far as she's concerned, and she wants to move on. And I get that feeling. I understand. But you had a child with the man. Like, he deserves to see his kids. Like, I can't imagine what it would feel like to have my child taken from me and not be able to see them. I can't even put that thought in my head. Like going from every day seeing my kid. Hey baby, just lay down, honey. Of course, I say that and she wakes up. Lay down, baby. Lay down. There you go. Okay. But yeah, I don't believe that on either end that co-parenting should not be happening at this point. Let's see. There's some comments. Roddy says I work with CPS on a daily basis. Melissa says she makes TikToks. It's not like they're that long, right? Curls. I think you can be a loving parent and make bad decisions. I think JK cares very much about her kids. I also think she's causing hurt in their fam, but so is Reese. Any breakup with or divorce is painful. 100%. The kids at this point, I feel like have to be confused, like completely confused. B says there are ways to keep the kids safe and visit him without having to see her. 100%. There are visitation centers where he could, be supervised by actual professionals. I mean, that's an option to start. Um,
Let's see. Melissa says true curls. Just because he wouldn't hurt them doesn't mean that he is necessarily behaving in a way that benefits them. Same could be true, Jessica. 100%. Curls. Had to go back out to look at the thumbnail pic. It's very cool. Also, hit thumbs up, please. Thank you. Rowdy said, most definitely be. You can be you can effectively parent and not have to see each other at all. 100%. Um, the other thing that I had was, oh, she has this one, like the whole end, like the last 30 minutes of the video really got to me because she has a therapist bring on Evan Rachel Wood and has an interview with Evan. And if anyone knows, let's see, one of the victims. Yeah, okay. So she has a interview with Evan Rachel Wood on there about her abuse from Marilyn Manson. And if anybody knows anything about what's going on in that particular case, there has been one of the victims of Marilyn Manson who has recanted their statement and said that Evan Rachel Wood and her girlfriend, friend, whatever she is, Elma Gore, had pressured her into believing that she was abused. Like they literally had meetings with checklists, like were you this, were you that, and all these things. Like it's extremely deep. And I will suggest Colonel Kurta's channel if you're interested in any of that because the case against Marilyn. What's up, baby doll? What's up? Do you need this? Do you need this? Here, hang on one second. I heard you. Here, okay, sorry about that, guys. Um, but yeah, the whole Evan Rachel Wood thing was that like one of the victims has recanted, and like it's come out in her custody case that she literally moved to Tennessee under the guise of um she was being abused by Marilyn Manson and she had to move from LA and she's basically effectively used it to alienate him from her children's lives. So I thought that was a really odd note to end on. Like there are plenty of interviews that you could get with domestic violence victims that are not, you know, people who are basically pariahs or people who are proven liars. I don't know. There's just so many inconsistencies in Evan's story, and I'm not saying inconsistencies make your story not true, but there are so many people who have come forward and done interviews saying that they were there on the set of heart-shaped glasses and that there was no abuse, that she was more than willing and that she was an active participant in that video. People that were around during that time that say that she kind of led the relationship. You know, if you read Rose McGowan's autobiography, who's one of the biggest voices in the Me Too movement, she talks about painting daisies with Marilyn Manson on their veranda. Like it's a very, white picket fence picture that she paints of him. And it doesn't mean that Evan's experience with him isn't valid, but it does raise questions. It definitely does, especially after the one of the victims recanted. It raises a ton of questions. Let's see. Yeah, it's not a good case to side with B. I 100% agree. Like I when she added that in, I was really befuddled. I was like, there are so many cases that you could go to. You could go to hey Tira. You could go to I'm so confused about chat right now. I'm gonna stay out of it, but here to support curls. Yeah, I'm talking about the most recent video that she just did, the one that just came out. Yeah, the Evan Rachel Wood thing is as bad as JD and AH. I think that that's going to be a repeat of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Um, I don't know. It's very surreal. It's very I don't know. Like all of these fake Me Too cases are pushing us so far back in society, and I think that it's almost the natural curve of things because there was such a tidal wave of Me Too cases that I feel like believe all victims, but there are victims
There are not, I don't want to use the word victim there. There are people who do lie to pretend that they are victims. And I don't know. It's just very, very wild and very surreal to me, if that makes sense. Like, I don't understand why you would want to have pretended about something like that, other than if if Evan's doing this for money. I don't know what she's doing it for. It's all very, very twisted because she has a successful career. I don't think she's lacking in money. I don't see what her motivation is for this, if that makes sense. Melissa says, I don't think it's believe all victims so much as take all claims seriously. Yeah, I believe it's that too. Yes. Yeah, I believe that I think that we should take all claims seriously. I do. But when we have child custody cases are motivators, they are. Yeah, and that's what you're seeing with the Evan Rachel Wood thing is almost like she's using Manson and his public facing image because it's so scary as her abuser so she can get the upper hand in her custody case. And it's like, wow. You know what I mean? It's just to me that's like I can't imagine why he would do that, but especially like Jamie Bell, I believe, is her ex, and he seems to be a really good guy. He seems to really love his child. Like, I it's I get it and I don't because when I was younger, my parents split for a while, and my mom would deprive my dad of time with me, as a punishment. You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like when you have a divorce or anything like that, you can't help but have that tug of war, but the only person that hurts is the child because I remember staring out the back of the window, and my dad running after the car and my mom just speeding off no matter how much I was like screaming, Daddy, you know what I mean? Like I was the one hurt by that, not my mother. And it doesn't hurt anybody but the child. Um, is this the final part? Oh, did she be? I didn't know she lost custody. I've been behind on the whole thing. I just knew the last thing that I knew that happened was the other accuser had basically said that she pressured her into it. I don't think it's the final part. I think that her final part will be I think she's going to attack the entire community that's against her. Like I believe 100% that's going to be what it is. She's just going to come out and say that we're all crazy and that we were all motivated by Nicole and Mindy and this, that, and the other. And I won't say that Nicole and Mindy didn't light a match. They did. They lit a match. But the fire that's roaring, that is all of us. There are some of us who have, watched all this go down and we just feel duped. We feel like we have given our social media currency to someone who didn't deserve it. Um, and that's not fair. Like your social media currency, you may not be subscribed to someone's Patreon or be a member. That does not matter. Your time is valuable. Anybody that you go into their chat or you go into their live, their video, whatever, you comment, you're giving them engagement, and that anyone over 500 subs is making money off of that. And I don't know. I feel there are a lot of creators who make people feel like if you don't subscribe to their Patreon or if you're not a member, you're not doing enough, and that's just not enough. That's not right. I believe that people's time is enough. Like it humbles me every time I have a live and people come to watch and hear what I have to say because there was a long time that I felt like no one cared what I had to say. You know what I mean? And just the fact that people do, it blows me away all the time. And for someone like Jessica with a platform her size, it's like the fact that there's no humility there, where she kind of steps back and goes, "Wow, a million people care about what I have to say. A million people watch my videos. Like, girl, maybe we deserve the truth. You know what I mean? Maybe we deserve, in your words, a microdust of accountability because no one is questioning the abuse. And you've made that about it. You've made that what this is about. And that was Nicole. If you can find other clips and you want to show me other clips of other creators questioning your abuse, I am more than open to watching and changing my opinion. But Nicole, I do believe, is the only one that was really questioning that. The rest of us just didn't touch it because it's such a touchy subject. Curl says, I feel bad for the dad in the Evans case because he's been begging to see his child. Well, at least that's what's come out in the media. Yeah, it's all through the court records, and he's even said that he believed that while he was with her, she never said any of this stuff about Marilyn Manson, and that he believes that she's made up parts of that to gain favor in the custody case. Curl says, I agree. You can support creators by just watching, leaving comments, and should definitely be enough and be grateful. And Roddy said, isn't Mindy friends with her again? I don't know if they're friends or not. Part of me feels like Mindy was paid off by her, to be honest with you. I, part of me feels like her and Nicole were both paid off because right after Mindy sold her TikTok, Nicole started to sell her TikTok, and it just seems like it was all a money grab. Tira says anyone who hates Jessica would speak on that DV. No video I've ever seen from anyone. Yeah, nobody is speaking on the DV. Yeah, you're exactly right. Has has any negative? Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. You're saying no one would talk negative on the DV. 100%. I agree with you, Tira. Like that's 100% right. Like no one would talk negative on the DB. It's just something that honestly I hate to say I don't care about because yes, grand scheme of things, I don't want her to be harmed. I don't want her children to be harmed, but I don't give a shit. Like I'm more worried about you saying that you were, the jailhouse lawyer and the chomo hunter when you only did 350 days in jail. Like, come on, girl. Like you had complaints written because you were too loud. Like that's it. Like be for real. Like, oh, it's so annoying. Terry said, "Stay humble, Mandy. It's better than being all about the clicks, likes, and views." Yeah, I believe that humility is something that everyone should have and everyone should keep. Like, I believe that you should be thankful if the little person where it shows you how many people are watching, if that says one person cares about what you have to say. Like, that's enough for me. Like that's all I need. Like that for me, that's all I need. And the fact that more than one person shows up when I go live, it does. It humbles me all the time, and I'm thankful all the time. And seeing the bigger creators not be thankful for that is just so mind-boggling to me. Tira said, "So annoying that damn liar face." I'm with you, Tira. It is annoying. It's like just tell the truth about what we wanted you to tell the truth about. Like, stop making this huge series about everything that we didn't ask you about. Curls. I feel like the one who's speaking the most about the DB is JK. Yes. And yes, it's terrible, truly. And I feel it's manipulating. So the topic is on that and not all the other bananas BS of lies. Yeah, she keeps shifting the goalposts to the DV. And it's like the DV is not what we were talking about. Like, that's not what anybody was asking you for. But you're trying to make it about that so you don't have to answer for it. And that's shisty to me. That's just shady and shisty. Let's see. Melissa says, right, not my business to demand to know about her personal life, even if she brought it to YouTube. I don't really care about the Reese stuff, honestly. Yeah, me either. Like, I don't. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. That's not why she lied. You know what I mean? You didn't lie about your prison time because you were being manipulated by Reese. I mean, at this point, I would not even like put a past her to be like, well, he was manipulating me, and he said if I didn't make enough money, and I had to make enough money, and the only way I made money was saying that I did this, and this in prison. Like, I don't put that past her. And it's like you're a known liar at this point, Jessica. Like, I want to believe you on all this stuff. And I do believe most of what you're saying. And like, but at the same time, it's hard to be sympathetic when you know that you've been lied to for years on end. But it's just, it's wild. The whole thing is wild. And it's like, I think that she's playing on that. I think that she knows people will tune into this shit because they aren't tuning into her regular content anymore. They're not. They don't care. It's just become something where
They don't care about it anymore. STG. I don't know what that means, curls. You're gonna have to tell me. I'm terrible at internet lingo. I just learned what GTSY means and BFFR means. I feel like such a boomer. Okay, swear to God. Okay, swear to God. If I see the letters DV or CI, I'm gonna get a headache from banging my head. Right? Like the whole CI thing. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't. Nobody's nobody really cares. Like you still lied about your story. You know what I mean? Like and also it was kind of proven that you ratted out Randy. So it doesn't you don't have to be a CI necessarily to be a snitch. Melissa said most people don't have issues with DB. They have issues with the lies in her content. Yep, Tira. No one cares if she tricked. Melissa says, although I think maybe she's as related since the Reese stuff set a lot of this off in the first place when you think about it. True, it's very true. Babe, would you bring me a drink, please? Um, Melissa said, so maybe it's more related to that for Jessica than for everyone else. Yeah, maybe because she got outed for those emails, she feels that it's all tied there. Honey, sit down. But yeah, there was a whole movement on here. Leave Britney Spears alone. So I got fussed at. You can sit down. But let's see, curls. Maybe she brought the Reese stuff to the internet, and I really think that no one would question anything else. They would just feel bad for JK. Yeah, I think that she thought that if she could maybe take the focus off of the prison time stuff, that people would forget it. But it's like there are those of us in this community that aren't gonna forget it because we've been lied to for years on end. And as I said before, like that's how many hours of social media currency you've given to this creator. Like, it's not fair. Like, I watched almost all of her videos. I really liked her. And granted, I saw the hallmarks that a lot of those stories were fake, but did I guess that she had lied about her prison time? No, not at all. You know what I mean? I thought she embellished some things, but who doesn't? Like, that's not what we're mad about. What we're angry about is that you know how much time you did in jail. Like that's a visceral experience. You know, you remember. Like and 350 days is nowhere near 5 years. So to me, that's the biggest thing. Just come out and be honest about that. As far as the recovery aspect, I don't care if you're using, I don't care if you're not, I don't really care at all. Just don't try to be a recovery advocate if you're not one. And I feel that way about Nicole too. You know, Nicole also faked the funk when it came to the recovery stuff. I truly believe that the whole thing with Nicole putting out her number and telling people, oh, contact me, contact me. I truly believe that was to feel popular. I feel like she would look at that number in her Instagram inbox and feel better about herself. And to me, it's freaking sick. It is so sick because you have people reaching out to you about CPS. You have people reaching out to you about getting sober. You have people reaching out to you who needed a friend. So many things just for you to feel popular. Are you kidding me? Like I've said before, if you're ever struggling with anything related to recovery and you need to talk to somebody, my inbox is always open. You can always message me on True Crime Blondie on Instagram. You can always reach out to me, and I will always give a listening ear. But with Nicole, I was one of the people she ghosted. Like it's not okay. It's not okay. And the whole, it's on you to reach back out to me. Okay, well, what about the people who did? What about the people who reached out to you month after month after month after month? Because you're supposed to be a good contact for this kind of thing. What about those people? Because I was one of those, and now it's just nothing. It's just There's no accountability across the board. And for me, it's like Nicole has so much to take accountability for, and yep, Tira, she did. Mm-hmm. About something pretty serious. um, but I don't know. It's just it's wild, and it's very yeah. And also, Tira, she ghosted me after I had been reaching out to her since from May. And wait, let me make sure I'm right. August or May or April or May till August, and she ghosted me in August, and then she uh came back and said something to me after I deleted all my messages because of her outing Marissa. So I think they all lied. Nicole, JK, and Mindy. Yep, they're all the same. Like at the end of the day, Nicole and Jessica are exactly the same. And I actually thought that Nicole might take accountability, but she took accountability for everything that didn't matter. Like she took accountability for talking bad on Jessica. Okay, you talk shit on somebody. What about the people you let down? Like, I'm working with Olivia right now on hang on, sorry, I'm catching up on chat. We definitely need to have a chat. Yeah, we do need to talk, Tira. Um, I don't like to talk behind the scenes, but I want some deeds. Yeah, that's totally fine. If you're cool when I get off here, we can talk. Um, yeah, ladies, stop giving everybody your number if you won't pick up for fuck's sake. Thank you, Melissa. That's exactly right. Yes. Yes. But I'm working with Olivia on the rock bottom recovery stuff, and we're making a huge Google Doc that I went through today, and I was adding in different rehab centers that took different kinds of insurance. Some were self pay, some were completely free, and it's like we're adding all that up so you have one place to go to, and it's not just giving out like the national SAMHSA like hotline. Like it's actually giving you places that might not be that far from your location, and we're going state by state with it. And it's like we're trying to do something really inclusive so we can actually offer people, a chance at real recovery and a chance to tell their story and not be judged, a place to go. And it's like I'm really passionate about that, like with Olivia. Like there's all Olivia's idea, I'm just kind of her number two or whatever, but I'm really passionate about it. I really think that it's something that's definitely needed in the community right now. Like, and it's lacking, and part of that is because Nicole had 35,000 people that were following her and believing that she was recovery advocate of the world, and then Jessica Kent has a million who believe she was recovery advocate of the world. And I can tell you personally right now that some of the biggest advocates on YouTube, and I'm talking people who have almost a million subscribers who do videos on people like Colleen Ballinger, they're not advocates. They're not true advocates because if you reach out to them in your time of need, you know what they're going to do. They're going to send you an email that's like, "Oh, here's a local place that might help you that won't help you." You know what I mean? Like there's not one of these people who would put a dime of their own money into helping someone. And that to me is so wrong. Like it is so wrong to sit there and act like you are such a wonderful, you know, victims rights advocate, and you understand everything about it, and then you have people who you may have had a personal relationship reach out with to you and be like, hey, I was abused in this way and this way, and I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z, and I don't know how to get help, and you give them like the number to HUD. Like, come the fuck on. Like, seriously? Like, are you fucking serious? Like, oh my god, I'm sorry. I can tell by the smirk who you mean. Yeah, you know, Melissa. You know. I can't stand them anymore. Like, I just have hit my limit. Like, whatever. It's literally the greatest idea ever. Oh, thanks, Tira. We're really excited about it. I hope that it really goes well with Rock Bottom Recovery. Like, I think that it's a wonderful idea, and I think that it's something that could be something wonderful. And that's what I was telling Olivia earlier, because I will say this, I do believe that just can't drop this tonight at 7 p.m. or whenever. It was 8 my time, but Olivia was going live to do the first live for Rock Bottom at 8 p.m. And I think she dropped that because she has featured her in her videos before. And it's just like, no, 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 ma'am. We see what you're doing. We understand and we see. Like, we got you. We got your number. Repeat the idea, please. Sorry. I can't see this from behind the heart. Cat caused chaos eruption. Oh, kitties. I love the kitties. Little Peach. But the idea is just that Olivia and I are doing something called Rock Bottom Recovery. It's just going to be a group that meets, I think on Wednesday night. She has a live, and we are going to have a Google Doc where we have everybody's state, like every state, basically, in the Google Doc, and have different recoveries in each state, like recovery centers in each state. Um, and it'll be like here's a resource list for everyone kind of thing, so anybody can go in there. You just find your state and it'll have three or four different recovery centers that accept different forms of insurance. Some that accept, no pay or self-pay or Medicaid or whatever insurance you may have. Let's see. Nicole said it will band women together for once, and I'm glad that we're all here to support all of the things. Yeah, I think that it's great. I think that women in recovery, it's like it can be really hard for us because NA and AA are specifically geared toward men, and a lot of there's a word for it, but there's a lot of men who will go to AA meetings just to like hit on women and get get women who are vulnerable, and it's sick. It's so sick. Curls. Oh yes, I popped in. I couldn't stay for the stream, but that's a fantastic idea. Aw, yeah, thanks, girls. Oh yeah, there are very few women in AA or NA, and it's really written for men. Originally, the idea I believe was in the 1950s. I'm working on a deep dive for Olivia on AA that she's going to do for that channel, and it was originally meant to just be for men who had alcohol problems. So when something's written specifically for men and it's not updated over the years, it can kind of cause chaos. Oh, wait, Mandy, is your Olivia the same one that Tracy Noel was talking about? Yes, that is my Olivia, and she is wonderful. But I do believe that Jess dropped that video at the same time that Olivia's live was going because she knew, because Olivia's promoted it. I've promoted it. I think other people have shared it on their community tabs, and I just think she freaking knew. And she was like, not today, bitches. JK, I'm sleeping on you today. But anyway, does anybody have any thoughts or questions or anything about that? Because I'm kind of finished with my rant about JK. I've done so much content. I think I've only done like 3 videos on here, but I'm at the point where it's like, girl, I'm over you. They suggested an all women's place for my daughter because of the emotions that get mixed up in rehab, having men and women together. She went to an amazing place with horse therapy, all women. I love that. Equine therapy, like there's nothing better. Like I love riding. I've loved it since I was a little girl. And like I can say in my recovery, like that helped me so much. Like I absolutely love horses. They're such calming creatures. They're like mini or like not mini, the opposite, big dogs to me. But and they're so smart and they're so I could go on and on. They're just amazing. Come here, Bill. Come sit with me. You guys have gotten to see a rotation of my dogs. This one's Bill. He is a Chihuahua pug, but he thinks he's a cat. It's very odd, but he does believe he's a kitty. Hey, Buster Blue. But I think I am going to cut it here. And if nobody has any questions, but Olivia, let's see. She was there for 5 months, and the horses were truly amazing and incredibly helpful. They know and feel human emotions and can call them on their BS. Yeah, they do. Like, that's one thing I love about horses. Like, when you're riding, you can give them this, like, I hate bridles. Like, I hate the piece that goes through their mouth because it basically cuts them and it's horrible. And oh, thank you, B. And I find it kind of abusive because especially if you use your legs, you can guide the horse with your legs. If you push to the left, they'll go to the left. If you push to the right, they'll go to the right, and you don't even need the bridle. So, but yeah, I think I'm gonna hop off now, guys. This has been a great stream. Really excited. I might be live tomorrow night. I'm not sure. I'm gonna be live quite a bit before I move because I'm not gonna be going live like right after my move, so it'll probably be a couple week um intermission. But yeah. So I really enjoyed this. I am gonna put a poll on my community tab on what you guys would like to see next, and we'll go from there. By the way, Tara, hit me up on Instagram after this and we'll have that chat. Bye, Terry. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming to hang out with me. Give him a kiss, Bill. Give everybody a kiss.